Welcome to Odd PA. It's UrbSpin Legends! Welcome to UrbSpin Legends. Spin the wheel, learn the legend, and complete the legend log. Or you can at least try to. Now, spin the wheel!
Hello and welcome to UrbSpin Legends. I'm Dakota, and in front of me right now is what I like to call the Wheel of Whispers. Now this wheel will decide which legend I'll be looking into. Some I know, some I don't, so let's see what we get. And this wheel is full of different legends, cryptids, spooky sleepover games, and anything else I could find, and it'll change every time we spin it. So let's see what we got. Okay, so the Black Angel statue. I know very little about this, but let's see what we can find. I actually first heard about this statue when I was reading the book Cursed Objects by J.W. Walker. He's one of my absolute favorite authors of all time. I highly recommend his books. But between the information in that book and the mysterious power of the internet, I'll try to lightly explain the legend while also filling out the legend log. So this is what I was able to find about the supposedly cursed Black Angel statue. First, a small bit of backstory to help the legend come to life. The Black Angel statue is located in Oakland Cemetery in Iowa City, Iowa. The statue was commissioned by a woman named Teresa Felderberg. I hope I pronounced that right. It was for her late husband Nicholas and her son Edward Dozel. Edward, having passed away at the age of 17 due to meningitis, already had a tree-shaped monument. After Teresa's husband later passed, she wanted to better honor the two with a monument of an angel. This bronze angel statue was crafted by Mario Corbell and was installed back in November 21st, 1912, with Edward's tree-shaped monument moved and placed next to it. The statue, standing about 8.5 feet tall, depicts a female angel with her wings pointing in two separate directions. The wings, to me, almost look as if they were tied to her wrist. It's very interesting. Teresa, not being too fond of the statue, didn't want to and almost didn't pay the commission fee. Fast forward about 12 years after the statue was placed, at the age of 88, Teresa passed away. Her ashes were placed with her husband and her son besides the angel statue. As of today, 2025, the statue had been installed around 112 years ago. Since the bronze statue oxidized over time, the statue had actually slowly changed into this greenish black color. And here's where things start to take a turn and where the legend begins to take place. It's said that the statue is to bring death to anyone that touches it. According to the legend, just touching the statue will result in your untimely demise. That's why many people try testing their luck with the statue, especially on Halloween night, where some residents of the area will test their luck by touching or even, for some reason, kissing the statue. I don't know why kissing is involved. Now, touching the statue on Halloween, especially at midnight, will cause the person to pass away within 7 years. If you're a girl and you kiss the statue, or you even kiss someone near the statue, it is said that you will pass away in only 6 months. And if you vandalize the statue, it is said that you will also pass away, which multiple people have vandalized, although I can't find out who they were, or if they're alive, so sorry about that. It is also said that staring into the angel's eyes will cause you to come down with a terrible illness, and there is said to be no cure. What is that illness? I don't know. I couldn't find anything. And if you're a pregnant woman, it is said that you will lose your child if you touch the statue, walk beneath its stretched out wings, or even cross through its shadow. Now, how do you stop this curse? Get this. Virgins. Kissing the statue as a virgin, or if a virgin is kissed in front of the statue, is said to be the only way to not be struck dead, and will also apparently return the statue to its original color and break the curse. Speaking of its color, people believe there are other, creepier reasons that the statue has become the dark shade that it is today. reasons that don't have to do with oxidation over time or the effects of weather. Some believe that Teresa was a witch and that her sins turned the statue black. Others state that Teresa and/or Nicholas were the reason for their son's death, causing the statue to change. Another simply states that the statue was struck by lightning. It is speculated that the statue turns a little darker each Halloween. It's even said to grow darker with each death caused by the statue. Many people leave money and flowers for the statue as offerings. Some people have even gotten married in front of the statue. And as they say, till death do us part, I guess. And that concludes the legend of the Black Angel statue. Here's a look at the legend log. I'm going to give this a danger rating of 2, right in the middle. It's pretty dangerous, but only if you decide to interact with it. Now, do I believe this urban legend is real? I'm going to say no. I don't actually think anything would happen to you if you touch the statue. It's not that I'm too scared to go prove it, I just don't live close to it. And I'm too scared to do it. Does that mean I actually believe it?
Odd PA will return after these messages. Hey you, yes you. You want to know a secret? Introducing the new mystery bag from Odd PA. Now with 25% more mystery. It's the perfect gift for the perfect person in your life. What do you think's inside? Your kids are gonna love it. Your grandparents are gonna love it. Heck, even your dog is gonna love it. And if you order now, we'll send an extra fresh bag for free. Must be 18 or older to call. Now, for Odd PA.
Alright, welcome back to the Wheel of Whispers. Wasn't that last one a doozy? I don't know, I haven't recorded it yet. Alright, this time I've added the Dover Demon, so let's see what we got. I'm a little nervous, but I'm also very excited, so hopefully we get something good. Alright, somebody called Robert Johnson. I don't really know. I can't remember what this one is. So let's find out together. When I first started reading about this legend, I was like, wait, I've heard of this before. And I would read a little more and I was like, no, I can picture this. I've actually seen this before. Where have I seen this? And the more I read, I figured out that I was actually thinking of a different person. And I was thinking of the movie Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And in that movie, there's a character named Tommy Johnson. And although that is a very similar story, they are two separate people even though they share the same last name. What we're focused on is Robert Johnson. And speaking of Robert Johnson, his life wasn't too well documented until after he had passed away. So using the whispers of the internet, I was able to gather enough information about Robert Johnson that kind of summarized the man and the legend behind him. And as usual, I'll be using some of the information to fill out this entry's legend log. This is what I was able to find out about the man that sold his soul to the devil. Robert Leroy Johnson, who according to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, just may have been the first ever rock star. Also perhaps the very first member of the 27 Club. But most importantly here, a man that is said to have sold his soul to the devil in exchange for musical talent. Johnson is possibly one of, if not the most mysterious American blues musicians. Robert Johnson was possibly born on May 8, 1911. I say possibly because again, his life wasn't too well documented until after he had passed. It was said that as a child, Johnson was embarrassingly bad at playing guitar. It wasn't until later in life when Johnson seemed to have almost magically learned how to play guitar, and play it well for that matter. The how he just figured it out, Anyway, Johnson learned and mastered the guitar in the style of Son House and learned more styles from a man named Isaiah Ike Zimmerman. How Zimmerman had learned to play guitar may just be the foundation or starting point of the Robert Johnson legend. Ike Zimmerman was said to have supposedly supernaturally learned to play guitar while visiting graveyards around midnight. It was said that he would sit on top of tombstones and just play. Eventually, Zimmerman would bring Johnson along with him to the graveyards, and together they'd play their instruments. Although this seems to line up with the legend, it was speculated that it was more likely that both Zimmerman and Johnson practiced in these graveyards, as it was quiet and they would not be disturbed. After a while of practicing, a very noticeable change in Johnson's guitar ability started to make people wonder, especially after his death, just how was he able to learn so quickly. Due to the rapid progression of his abilities, people started to speculate that Robert Johnson had sold his soul to the devil. According to the legend, Johnson had supposedly been told to take his guitar and visit a crossroad. He was to visit at midnight. Once he arrived at the crossroad, waiting for him would be the devil himself. There, Johnson would strike up a deal with the devil. The deal? Mastery of the guitar and musical ability in exchange for his very soul. The devil would take Johnson's guitar, tune it, and play a few songs with it. Afterwards, the devil would hand back the guitar to Johnson, in which he granted him mastery of it, thus kicking off his claim to fame. Other versions of this legend suggest that Johnson's meeting with the devil was at a graveyard instead of a crossroad, which again lines back up with the Zimmerman graveyard part of the legend. Another version even mentions that the devil may not have been referring to Satan, but of a different otherworldly spirit altogether. This intrigued me. Instead of doing that research myself, I figured I knew just the guy.
Who dares to summon the crowned prince of Dorkshire, master of lore?
Tyler, please, not here.
Okay.
What do you know about how Robert Johnson learned to play the blues?
Ah, yes, the famed Robert Johnson, the man many claim to have sold his soul to the devil. I and other historians think it's far more likely his songs were about Papa Legba, the Loa of the crossroads. According to Haitian belief, this Loa appears as an old and feeble man holding a cane. It is through him that communication between humans and the Loa is possible. After all, Papa Legba is a master of all human languages. What better Loa to teach Johnson to sing the blues?
Interesting. Thank you, Tyler. Let's take a step back now and look more at the crossroad. There are a few tourist attractions claiming to be the crossroad in both Clarksdale and Memphis, along with a few other locations claiming to be the real crossroad. Although the majority of the internet believes that Clarksdale, Mississippi is the correct location. More specifically, the intersection of Highway 61 and Highway 49. That is what most people believe is the actual location where Robert Johnson sold his soul. That's not the only detail of this legend that is hard to pin down. Another being his death. How did Robert Johnson die? Robert Johnson died on August 16, 1928 at the age of 27, again considered to be the first member of the 27 Club. The 27 Club is a mysterious phenomenon in which famous people pass away at the age of 27. It's very interesting and honestly deserves its own video. Johnson had supposedly died of unknown causes. The certificate only shows the date and location of the death. Some death theories include likely having congenital syphilis, possibly aortic dissection due to Marfan syndrome, and maybe even being poisoned by the jealous husband of a woman Johnson had flirted with at a dance. And here's another thing. Johnson's actual gravesite is unknown. There are 3 possible gravestones in which Johnson could be buried. One located at Payne Chapel, one located at Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church, and one located at Little Zion Church, all located outside of Greenwood. To me, having multiple tombstones really interested me. So no matter what happened, or where he's actually located, may he rest in peace. And that concludes the legend of Robert Johnson, the man that sold his soul to the devil. Here's a look at the legend log. For the danger rating, I'm going to give this a 1 out of 4. I suppose if you were to be Robert Johnson, it would be a full 4 moons for the day the devil came to collect his soul. Now, do I believe this urban legend to be real? I'm gonna go with a no. Yes, Robert Johnson was very real and very talented, but I do not believe he sold his soul in order to become as talented as he was. Alright, sorry to cut this one short, but it's getting pretty late and I've got a special meeting tonight that I just cannot miss.
Ladies and gentlemen of the audience, I thank you. I hope your evening has been delightfully.
Does it not strike you as being rather odd?